Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the panel session.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, so we have a session. It's supposed to be a panel discussion on the PMI chapters bylaws. And I'll just set some context, and then I'll ask, I hope we know Frank, he's the current president, and Jumoke, the immediate past president, about the changes, okay? So as we know, PMI Ghana is a chapter. So there is the main body, and the PMI Ghana is a chapter. More of like a franchise arrangement from the global entity. So there is something that guides our relationship with PMI Global. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss, talk about. So the topic is from obstacles to opportunities, how PMI Ghana chapter's new bylaws will enhance volunteering experience. So I'll start off with the immediate past president, Jumoke. You say we have new bylaws. Please, can you educate us what the bylaws are?
Thank you very much. He introduced us, but he didn't introduce himself. His name is Percy, and he was once the vice president for membership. I think partly under Augustine's tenure and partly under Albert's tenure. Augustine here is the second president for the chapter, and Albert is the third president for the chapter, and I am the fourth president for the chapter. Now, let's talk about bylaws. We know that PMI is a global body. We have the headquarters in the US. And the chapters is to help bring value in the respective countries where they are, to customize some of the value for the members in that country. And so when you become a chapter, we have what we call charter. You will be chartered by PMI. And one of the things that you will need to do is to have bylaws. So in 2011, there's a template, and it's like the guiding documents for the chapter. So you will see who a member is, you will see who can stand for the position of the board, you can see what you will do that will make you lose your membership, and then you will see the different positions on the board. As PMI Ghana, we went for having board members, I think 9, and then we review it to at least up to 15, right? Yeah, so then you see the definition of who can become a board member, and you see that of member. We say that board members are those that are elected by members in good standing. You also see who a member in good standing is. And then we have description of the roles of the board. That was what we had previously. Now, in 2016, the then president felt that, no, we have grown. And this is Mr. Augustine Harrington Nuno. And so he initiated the need for us to relook into the bylaws that, look, we are a professional body delivering value. We were not successful in 2016. Then I became president in 2019. We initiated it, but then we were also not successful. Then, thankfully, our president, my president, Frank, has been successful. Now, the difference between the previous bylaws that we had and the new one is this. The previous one we had, the board members wear 2 caps. They wear the cap of the strategic individual that you set the map for the chapter, what you are going to achieve in a year. Then after they finish the strategic meeting, they remove the cap and now wear the cap of the operational lead. They now come up with the activities to execute the strategy they came up with. And if you pay attention, you will realize that We have board members that are resigning. We have non-performing board members because the work is a lot. It's like a paid, I mean, when I was president, people actually thought that was my job and I'm being paid to do the job. So it takes lots of effort to be able to do that. So this bylaws is separating the roles, that if you're a board member, you do strategy. If you are an operational person, you head the unit. So that is the context and what bylaws is to the chapter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I was actually going to ask Frank, because you put the topic together from obstacles to, I'm wondering what the obstacles were with the existing bylaws.
Okay, thank you, Percy. And Daniel, can you please move to the next slide? Okay, so as Jumi indicated earlier on, in fact, the first time I attended an interview for a volunteering role, I was asked, how many hours can you give to the chapter in a week? I said, okay, maybe 2 hours in a week. It's okay. I think the question should have been, how many hours can you have for yourself in a day as a volunteer? So we went in. One thing that attracted me and got me going was the energy this lady has. And I felt this lady has some juju. Let me also go and get some. So I kept looking for the juju. By the time I closed my eyes and opened, I was wearing the cap of the president. Now, if you look at what we have on the screen, the president / CEO / board chair, one person. Why won't you have gray beard? Then the VP membership is a board member. So from the 2nd to the 4th of January every year, we go to a place like Hepzibah at Ebri for a strategic session. We sit as a board, we set strategies, the same people. Then we come from that place, we remove the board membership cap and the board chair cap, put it down, and wear the operational head's cap. So we set our own strategies, come out to implement them, and assess ourselves. Just as you can see, you know VP Outreach, VP Professional Development, and all of them, they also serve as board members. And it has been draining on everybody. This woman should tell you what she has sacrificed to be able to get the chapter where it is. I wouldn't tell you mine. And we don't want, going forward, the volunteers who would come to suffer the same fate. So we took a step to make the bylaw that was serving as obstacle to rather become some advantage or something that would attract people to volunteer. I don't know if you would want me to continue or you want to come back.
Okay,
with
no,
another
I mean,
question.
so show us the advantage. What is the
Right. So the new bylaw, what we sought to do was to change the structure, was to separate the powers. Now, what each person was wearing, president, CEO, and board chair, we sought to delineate them, divide them into two, so that we are going to have the president, CEO, no more, right, let me leave that one first, I'll come back to that. But the other board members are no more going to be operational heads. There will be board members, as Jumoke mentioned, between 9 and 15. So this is an opportunity for everybody here, especially the experienced ones who want to give up their time and expertise, but they are afraid of the time commitment. These board members are not going to be fully involved in the day-to-day operational activities of the chapter. They will be there for strategy. We will decide whether it is one meeting in a quarter or whatever it may be. You set the strategy. The president leads a team to go and deliver and report at the appointed time. Again, what we realize is that the president also has a lot of workload. And if I ask you today, who wants to become the next president, I'm sure you all look back looking for that person, because it will certainly not be you if you look at the workload. But we are looking at a situation where we have the vice president in charge of operations being a paid staff, and that person is going to lead all the operations, with the president having the time to lead the strategic arrangement from the board and supporting the operational team to deliver. Then below, or to assist the vice president operations to deliver, instead of what we have, VP finance, VP outreach, VP membership, will become head of this, head of that, in that order, to support the vice president in charge of operations to deliver the mandate of the chapter, so that there will be free time on the hands of the president to do the strategic aspect of the leadership.
Okay, so are the board members paid in the new arrangement? No, it's you.
Right. The board members are not paid or will not be paid. They will still be volunteers. The only paid person in this arrangement is the vice president in charge of operations. That's the only paid person. And that is going to be a KPI-based role. There will be KPIs. If you are able to achieve this, you have your base salary. If you are able to achieve this, you get this incentive and all that. And that will be assessed from time to time. If the person is not delivering, we know what to do to the person. And frankly, we are not doing this for me, nor for Jumoke, but for sustainability of the leadership of the chapter. So the board will not be paid. From top to down, the only paid person will be the vice president in charge of operations. Let's leave the blue space out for now. We'll talk about that later.
And the heads of operations, head of volunteering, they are all volunteers?
They are all volunteers, yes.
Okay, so you have volunteers reporting into a paid staff with KPIs?
Yes. I know the challenges, but I know the, thank you, potential challenges, but we have thought through this, and we have had situations whereby, if you look at the administrative head of the various PMI regions, for our case, the Sub-Saharan Africa region 16, we have paid staff there, and we work with them as volunteers, and it has been awesome. We believe it is a matter of maximizing the benefits of volunteering as against pitching volunteers against the paid staff, and we should be able to reap the benefits that there may be. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the analogy is okay with the PMI, even global and regional arrangement, but you're going to hire somebody on a fixed term contract, KPI based, and the people he's working with are volunteers, not bound by, well, bound in quote, by any KPIs. Would you measure his underperformance I mean, would it be right to measure his underperformance strictly against him? Jimmy.
All right. If you look at what we've been able to achieve presently, for someone to assume that I am being paid is because we were delivering value. And so I think one of the things we're going to do is to ensure that we get people that are passionate. We need people that understand volunteering, that is something you do without being paid. We will be looking forward to getting people that are passionate about results. And it's not only in Ghana. If you are passionate about Ghana, passionate about improving how projects are executed in Ghana, and you want to be part of the success story, then you'll be willing to do that. And it's a general challenge for like when you ask someone to do something, the first question they ask is, how much are you going to pay me? But we need to move to the culture of understanding what needs to be done, the value. Okay, so I was not paid for all the time I have volunteered, but I've gotten projects as a result of my volunteering, because some people just look at me and say, if this lady could deliver this much without being paid, then if I give her my project, she will deliver. So like indirectly, that is a form of value. Now the volunteers would have KPIs, as we have KPIs for the existing volunteers, and you would understand that the person is being paid. Now the advantage, one of the advantages is he has his consulting job, even though he's been sacrificing some time. However, if you got the operational guy, that is the person's full-time job. So if we are able to run this as volunteers, with volunteers, you understand, mind you, this is an adaptive thing, it's an iterative thing that as we go along, it will be evolving. We will be learning along the line, and we'll be meeting iteratively to, it's not fixed. Okay, so maybe after 6 months, after 1 year, we will review and see where to make adjustment. The challenge is, frankly speaking, I almost had stroke when I was president, but I didn't know. It's not, you don't sleep well, especially when you want results and you have demanding members and you are looking at the figures. So we work more. My daughter said I should stop saying it. I send WhatsApp message to this man anytime the idea comes. If it comes 12 midnight, I will send it. If it comes 5 a.m., I will send it. So why would he be losing some of his paid job? When I was president, I never thought PMP one day for the 4 years, just because I felt it would be unethical, it would be unfair to the other trainers. So it means I lost revenue as a trainer. But you would understand that not everybody will do that. You understand what we are saying? So we are starting this iteratively. Hopefully it will work. If it doesn't work, it's okay. There's something we say now, fail fast and learn from it. And then you go back to your planning adaptively and you review it. Okay, so we don't want to build, sometimes when you are planning, some people will come up with problem and then they will now start solving the potential problem. It's not yet a problem, but they will start solving it. Then they leave the main thing. So let's try this. Then iteratively we modify.
Right. Just to add to that, even when I am a volunteer, my board members, other volunteers are also volunteers. I still get this. Mental health is important. Why? After all, we are all volunteering. Yes, I volunteer. I get it from volunteers. So it will not be strange if a paid staff hears it from volunteers, right? But the point is, it is good we have these uncertainties in mind, but I believe until we move forward, we might not know which ones would materialize or would actualize. So I believe it is a good point for us to start, and that is going to give a lot of us here the opportunity to come and say, okay, board member, it's okay, we meet once every 3 months. That one I can do. And that person would have a lot of experience and expertise to bring on board. And we need that to be able to steer the strategic direction of the chapter.
Okay, thank you. But I have, how much time do you? Asta? Oh, give me 3 minutes, please. Jumi is here. Before I ask the last question, are there people here who want to volunteer for PMI? Just lift your hand. I want to see something. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. But so the last question is, with this arrangement, has the requirement for volunteers changed? Because previously you only needed a 1-year membership, right? 1-year membership. Is it the same for the current arrangement, your board, your heads of operations? No, any of you can answer yes.
Please, when did you become a member?
August 2019.
If you didn't quote it, I will just refer to my WhatsApp. I have the message welcoming him as a member. When did you become VP membership?
By the end of the same year.
And he was one of the best board members that I had. I hope that answers your question. So what it means is that, so it means we didn't even apply that 1 year to him. What you need to volunteer is desire to volunteer and your ability to manage time. And the most important one is you love value delivery. So it is not just the title, because what we have observed, when after election, go to LinkedIn, people have updated their profile, VP membership, VP outreach, VP professional development, VP marketing and sponsorship. They love the title, but the effort that we put into the work is not directly proportional to the same title that you have placed on the LinkedIn. So 1, valid membership subscription. It doesn't have to be a year. 2, ability to plan time. 3, desire and commitment to deliver value. And even 4, passion for the profession.
Okay, I think we are done, but I'm not sure if anyone wants. You have a question? Ato, please. Please help us with. Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Afterwards, the lady. Yeah, Prof.
Thank you very much, Professor Tuli. In the spirit of failing fast, I just wanted to check whether we have looked at any similar structure within the global PMI that operates anything similar to what we are proposing. Is there any similar structure in the global PMI that we probably looked at that operates a structure similar to what we are proposing?
Sorry. No, I have been around the board for some time, but I know Washington, D.C. has a similar chapter. I mean, the board structure, yes? So the board is just for oversight, strategy, and things like that. And I think Essie, right?
Yes. So I'm from PMI South Africa. I'm a volunteer there. I'm a senior vice president. I've joined the chapter in 2018, and that is all I know. That's the structure I know. It works when it's done properly. There needs to be governance processes and guidelines, as well as these volunteers, they need to know their malia. This is from Dr. Linkies. She has always taught us that as a volunteer, you need to know what your malia is. M stands for what motivates you becoming a volunteer, and A, what aspirations do you have becoming a volunteer. And L is for limitations. What's your limit in terms of time, in terms of your volunteering, bringing yourself into the volunteering space? And I stands for what inspires you. And A, you need to be accountable, and whatever you say you're going to do, you need to do it. So that's your Malia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So about volunteering, I think it's been concentrated in Accra, and I've asked Jumo this question over and over again. Not every one of us is in Accra. We are scattered all around. So if we want to volunteer and not in Accra, how are we going to go about that one also? Because I know people from other places have. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruth. So we have branches outside of Accra, and we have volunteers there. We have volunteers in Kumasi for the Kumasi branch, Takoradi branch, Tamale, Ho, and Sunyani. And last year, we engaged our members at one of the mining companies in Takwa. We had 15 members in that organization. We held meetings with them, virtual meetings, and we attempted to have a mini branch in Takwa in order to say pilot and see if it worked. We were going to go into smaller communities. We could come to your organization to say, ECG, we want to have a mini branch here so that if it is once every month you will meet to discuss project management, you can do so. But when you go to the commitment of time, the team scattered. And that has been the challenge. We have been making the efforts. You know, it's beautiful when we talk about the roles, the volunteering, but once we leave here and you go and face your monsters at home, I face my monsters at home in the office, everything fizzles out. It is only the resilient who will be able to still stand the monsters and still be loyal to the commitment we have made to our volunteering role. So we have been making the efforts. Maybe we could use you as our point of contact for Takwa, right? Yes, so that we can kickstart something new in Takwa and other places. Thank you.
So what you are saying is, even if you are outside Accra and you want to volunteer, there is the opportunity.
Indeed. Where is Engineer Alberta Mankwa? Where is she? Okay. Where are you based? Kumasi. Okay. But please stand. Alberta, we sent messages for members to volunteer for our mentorship system we wanted to build last year. And the people who responded, Alberta has been the committee chair, and she has driven that project to a point where we have received RFPs from service providers. She has led the team, and they have evaluated all these vendors. And just before we got here, I received emails of the evaluation report with whom we could consider selecting with the scores and everything. So when we send the messages, irrespective of where you are, some of the roles can be done remotely. And she has done an amazing job. And let me say that I always watch her when she's not getting any response from the others, how she goes about ensuring that she gets the result. I said, this lady, I was just talking to her this morning, saying that she has a greater potential to aspire to, perhaps the president, so a few years to come. Thank you very much, you and your team. Thank you.
The volunteers, they are layers. So what we are doing currently, the board members are in Accra because that is where the chapter is. So if you want to be a board member, the previous bylaws, you have to be in Accra. Even the one we'll be doing, the head of the respective portfolios will be in Accra. You know why? If you look at the data, about 80% plus of the members are in Accra. And then you would have to be having face-to-face meeting at least a month. So it's an attempt to reduce the possible challenges. So for that level of volunteering, they will be in Accra. But then we have the branches, and then we have people working under these heads or the portfolio, the VPs. This can be maybe outside Accra if you can manage the movement. So, I see people that are managing Takoradi here.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to thank everybody, my IPP. In fact, when I also become IPP, I'll still give it to her to add to her IPP. And Percy has also been very, very supportive, and everybody here. I believe, having shared this session with us, when it's time for our next election, when nominations are open, you put your best foot forward and let us all move the chapter forward. Thank you.
Well said. A huge round of applause, please. So we can all move the next chapter forward. You can do it for them one more time while they take their seats. Volunteerism to its best is possible.